Alrighty, I am here after the Better Biev and Bivol fight in full fight card. Wow, that was a great event. That was awesome to see. Like always, usually the really stacked cards. Like I feel like this always happens. The super stacked cards don't end up going all the way through. That sucks because we almost had like an insane super card. Don't get me wrong, it was still an insane card, but we almost had all the fights there. But we had to have some replacements like Shakur and Kid Austin was supposed to happen. Floyd Schofield. I think we all know Shakur still would have won that, but it didn't happen. We wanted to see it. It's been built up. Floyd was sick. If he was actually sick or not, I think so. He posted a picture in the hospital. I'm assuming so. But who knows? Shakur said that he didn't think they would be fighting. Like, he didn't think he'd be able to lead up to the fight with it anyway. He thought he'd pull out. So who knows if it's real or not. And then same thing with Daniel Dubois and Joe Parker. I really, really wanted to see that fight. Martin Bacoli, he filled in for the heavyweight fight. And instead of his fight, he was supposed to fight somebody else. And he filled in for Daniel Dubois and Joe Parker. He fought instead of Daniel Dubois, because Daniel Dubois also got sick a couple days before, and man, that would have been a really good fight to see. And then the winner of that, I believe, would have went to fight Usyk. So that sucks, but it is what it is. We had Jaylee Zhang versus Caballel to start it off. I think that's how you say it, Caballel. I think it's Caballel. Anyway, if I get it wrong, I'm sorry, but that was a great fight from the start. Zhang, he looked a little bit more powerful than, he looked powerful. And then Caballel was starting to break him down with the body early. And Zhang was still landing good punches. I mean, everybody knows Zhang is insanely powerful. That's why they call him the Big Bang. He's 41 years old, though, but he's 6'6". He's a big guy. And I think he was coming in at about 280 in this fight. You can tell he's a thick dude. So Caballel was just landing body shots the entire time, and he was landing some good shots up top too. Don't get me wrong, he was going everywhere, and that was the thing. He was mixing it up and down, and so was Zhang. But Zhang was starting to slowly fade, and you could tell that was happening. And I don't remember which round it was. It was 6 or 7 or something like that. This is the first fight. Keep in mind, Caballel drops him for the first time. I believe Zhang's ever been dropped, and he finished it just like that. The body shots. I mean, you could tell it was taking a toll on Jaylee Zhang. He was not doing okay with the body shots. His stomach, his whole torso was so red. Caballel was just ripping the body the entire fight for so many rounds, and it got to him. He couldn't get up, and that was it. That's all she wrote. That was a great first fight to see. And then we have Madrimov versus Virgil Ortiz. Ortiz came away with that. And to be honest, I'm not going to cover that fight because I kind of didn't see that one. I was kind of tuned out for that one. And then what else did we have after that? The other one I remember watching was Shakur and Josh Paddle, I believe. Josh Paddle. And he literally was an electrician on Tuesday. He worked as an electrician and then went to fight Shakur Stevenson because Kid Austin fell out. Like I said, it would have been way better if you saw Shakur versus Kid Austin, but Shakur fought him. Josh went all the way to 9 rounds. I mean, got dropped 3 times. Props to him. I mean, I think the fight changed his life to getting that Saudi money, taking a world title shot against Shakur. So I'm happy for him that he got like a good bag, I believe. I hope he did. And at least that opportunity and on that stage. I'm just happy that happened for him. He showed a lot of heart. I mean, going in 3 days notice, literally working as an electrician on Tuesday, working a normal 9 to 5, and then fighting Shakur on Saturdays, crazy, and still to make weight. So yeah, that was pretty cool to see. Shakur still took him 9 rounds to drop him. That's his fight style, but whatever. He stays undefeated. We'll see what he does next. And then we had Joe Parker versus Martin Bacoli. I didn't think Bacoli was going to come out with the win. Joe Parker is an insanely good boxer. He's really, since the first Saudi card, I think was Ngannou and Tyson Fury, we've just been seeing him progress every single time. And he's been continuing to show like that he needs a world title shot. And he did it in, I think, round 2 against Bacoli. it didn't even land clean on his head. He threw an overhand. Bukole was looking all right. It looked like Joe Parker was probably going to be fine. But nothing too interesting from either side. Then round two, Joe Parker threw a fat overhand right over Martin Bukole's head, and it like skimmed the top. But Joe Parker has that much power, and Bukole, the big guy that he is, you can see he was up like this, bouncing down a little bit, and then boom, straight on his back. He got up, I think, 8 or 9, and the ref called it because he could barely, like, once he was up, he could barely walk and stuff like that. So they called it. Joe Parker won second round. Crazy. That was the co-main. Once again, if it was Daniel Dubois and Joe Parker, that would have been insane. Now I don't know what happens if they just give Joe Parker a title shot against Usyk, because technically Dubois already fought Usyk and he lost, but Dubois, after beating AJ, people think like in that fashion he should get another shot at going against Usyk. And Usyk says he probably only has 2 more fights left, so we're on borrowed time here. And I'd really like to see, Usyk versus Parker and Usyk versus Dubois again, which would have been better if we saw Dubois versus Parker. But we'll see. But I do think Parker deserves a title shot soon, if not next fight. He's shown that he's one of the best, and I think he needs to have it happen. If Daniel Dubois, he's sick, he can't really do anything about that. Joe won, so I think he gets a title shot. And then on to the main event, Bivol versus Wow, I just had a stroke. Bivol versus Beterbiev 2. The rematch, the last crescendo, what they're calling it. That fight did not disappoint at all. I mean, that was insane. It was better than the second fight for sure. It started off way faster, and it started off in Beterbiev's favor. I'm a Bivol fan, to be honest, so I'm trying not to be biased, but I don't like hate Beterbiev or anything like that, but I like Bivol better. No pun intended. But it started off in Bivol's favor, and Bivol was getting put on the back rope first, and that was not good. If you guys remember the last time I talked about their fight, I said Bivol has to stay in the middle of the ring and not be on his back foot, and he was on his back foot against the back of the ring most of the fight. Or not most of the fight, the first like half the fight almost, first 4 or 5 rounds. Beterbiev was teeing off on him, getting some big shots landed. Bivol started off a little bit okay, and then Beterbiev through like the middle rounds was teeing off on Bivol, and Bivol had his foot against the ropes the entire time, and it was not looking good for him. And I was like, oh, this isn't looking too good. As a Bivol fan, I was like, you got to lock in and do something here. And then it continued, and then I think Beterbiev may have a little bit gassed himself out. I'm not sure if he did or not, but the last fight, the first fight, he came alive kind of in the second half of the fight, and it was kind of the opposite here. I think he gassed himself out in the earlier rounds against Bivol. Maybe he was trying to put him away. I'm not sure, but Bivol started to come alive in the second half. It was kind of the opposite. He was in the middle in the second half, and he was doing what I also said last time. If he's going to have to get away from Beterbiev and not be on his back foot, he's going to have to dodge from the ropes. Get away, back up from the ropes, stand in the middle, and kind of lay down on his punches a little bit. And that's what he did. That Soviet style is so good with Dmitry. Has it just 1, 1, 1, 2, or whatever. He'd do it 1, 1, 2, and then one of them would open up and land big on Beterbiev. He was just peppering him with punches. Same thing Beterbiev did to him in the earlier rounds. He's doing to Beterbiev. And Beterbiev was on his back foot a little bit, not too much, but it was more standing in the middle of the ring, and Bivol was just landing more. And that's what was happening. Then sometimes Beterbiev would go put the pressure on, and then Bivol would slip out of the side, boom, boom, or one punch and counter. Like that's what he didn't do in the last fight, and he was doing that once he got out of the way. He would land and capitalize on those punches a little bit. That's what Bivol just did better. He had a better gas tank, and this time he didn't. When Archer would close out on him, Bivol would get away, and he would counter him, and he'd capitalize on the opportunity. And I think he sat down his punches last fight too, but he was just better this fight with, I think, peppering him more and more accuracy. I think he let his hands go a little bit more, and a better gas tank. I'm not really good. Part of it could have been better Bivol just gas out a little bit too. I'm not sure, but all in all, Bivol won. He is the undisputed champ. And we are set up for the trilogy, which is what I really wanted to happen, selfishly, just like I just want to see a third fight here. So I'm really glad that happened. And as a Bivol fan, I'm glad that happened. But Bivol did say in the post-fight interview that he says you might need to take a little bit of a break for the third one because he says he was injured in camp, which is crazy. He won of an injury, so that kind of sucks, but it makes sense for the third one. It's for all the marbles, and you got to see what happens. So yeah, I think the third one, I don't know, that's gonna be interesting game plan. I just feel like none of them could get knocked down, but it'd be crazy to see one of them get knocked down. I don't think either of them have ever been knocked down before. And they also had the AI scorecard for the first time. One of the judges scored it split decision, then the fourth, which is the AI judge, scored it 116 to 112 Bivol, which I think is kind of crazy. I don't know if it was that big of a margin, but I do agree Bivol won. So, but anyway, guys, that's my breakdown for the card, and yeah, that's about it. It just happened. So sorry if I kind of sped through this. I'm trying to get off like as fresh a memory as I can. And yeah, it's time to watch Henry Cejudo and Song Yudong. They're about to fight, so I'm gonna watch that fight night right now. And yeah, we have Tank versus Roach coming out soon, and Alex Pereira next week as well. So the fights coming up are real good. And what else just happened? UFC. I don't know what UFC got announced. I don't remember the number of it, but it's Volkanovski and Lopez. Ilya's moving up to lightweight. Looks like he will be able to fight Islam. There's no more double champs in the UFC either, but it's going to be Hooker and Gaethje for the co-main, and then Michael Chandler and Patty below that. It's a great card in Miami, so I'm really excited for that. But that's what got announced, and as of right now, Jones and Aspinall is still confirmed. What Dana said, it's happening. So no more doubting on that, thankfully. So UFC and boxing is looking up. But anyway, that's it for me, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.